fellow Toastmasters and modern guests. This is so exciting. I'm so excited to be here tonight, and I'm excited about the lineup. We just heard from a great speaker that was so inspirational. I love it. So what I would like to do before I begin my speech is ask everybody to close your eyes. Will everybody please close your eyes? I want you to take a really deep breath. Take your hand and place it on your heart. And feel your heartbeat. And with your eyes closed, feeling your heartbeat, I'm going to ask you a question by a raise of hands. I just want you to answer the question. Anybody in here ever have a dream so strong that it was burning, this burning dream within the heart? Anybody ever have one of those? By a show of hands, has anybody ever had one of those dreams come true? By a show of hands, has anybody in here ever had that dream that was burning in their heart burn out? By life, by circumstances, by situations in your life, that light became dim and that dream got pushed aside. I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with me. You may open your eyes. I believe that dreams are gifts that God gives us to keep us moving. And so tonight I'm going to share a story with you. It's a true story about a little girl named Margot. And Margot was an only child, and she was very, very lonely. She was a very lonely little child. And so she wanted to have siblings. And her mother tried several times to have siblings, and every time she would try, she would miscarry. And so Margot began to dream about one day having her own family. And somehow she came up with the number 8. She wanted 8 children. I don't know how that happened. She wanted 8 children. And so she would come home from school off the bus in the afternoons, and she would walk in the door, and the house would be quiet, and there was no noise in there. There was nobody else in there. It was just her. And so she began to dream about one day her house being filled with lots of love and lots of laughter of all of her 8 children. So she kept this dream in her heart. And as she grew older and she got married and she began to have her own children, she got halfway to her dream. She had 4 kids. She had 2 boys and 2 girls. And her husband said to her, I don't want to have any more kids. We have this perfect family. And so I'm going to have a vasectomy. And Margot was horrified. You know, she was devastated. So she began to become a foster parent, and she started fostering children. And as these foster children would come into her life, it gave her a temporary sense of satisfaction, but then the state would pull them back out and maybe send them back to their biological parents, and she felt deep pain and deep hurt. And so she said, I can't do this. This is not for me. I cannot do foster children. I have this dream that God gave me, and I want to have my own children. I want this dream to come true. So she began to pray desperately, morning, noon, and night, every day, praying and asking God for a miracle. And she believed that God would give her that miracle, and He would give her the desires of her heart. And so while she's praying over a course of a few years, she begins to go out and seek a doctor who would perform this reversal of the vasectomy. Well, this was a long time ago, and there were no doctors in the United States who would perform the surgery. It hadn't been done. So every doctor she would meet, she would ask them, and they would say, it's not been done. Nobody's doing that surgery. Nobody will do it. So she would go back to praying and believing and having faith that God would answer this prayer, because she knew this dream was placed in her heart for a reason. So one day she finds this doctor who says, all right, I'll give it a try. Let's go for it. In Cincinnati, Ohio, he said, I'm willing to do it. And so now the trick was convincing her husband, right? And so she goes to her husband and says, I found a doctor who will do the surgery. And he's thinking, you're crazy. Like, the doctor's already said this can't be done. It can't be done. So why I'll give it a try. So he agreed to do it. And this is a true story. The doctor, the night before the surgery, actually practiced on spaghetti noodles, okay?
Oh.
Yeah. And so he goes in, he has the surgery done, and a year later I was born. And my mother, she had her dream come true. She went on to have 8 children, and God gave her a bonus. He gave her a 9th child for being so persistent and so consistent and not giving up on her dream. And so I am a dreamer. It is no secret that I am a dreamer, and I'm a visionary, and I believe in miracles. And so as I stand here before you tonight, I want to ask you that dream, when you had your eyes closed and you felt it in your heart, don't give up on that. Like, reignite that light and turn it on and let the whole world see your light shine. Don't give up on your dream, because I just shared with you a true story of a woman who had the courage to not give up on her dream after she was told no time and time again. And so I believe that dreams are put in our hearts so that they will come true and miracles can happen. So tonight, please, I want you, each and every one of you, to go home and think about these dreams that are placed in your heart and reignite that light and go out with a purpose to make them come true.